unwell, you are at risk of getting bad medicines. And Kenyans, according to a joint survey conducted by the Ministry of Health and the World Bank in Nairobi, 17% of all 300 prescriptions and 42 health facilities sampled were found to be substandard. A spot check across the country has painted a grim picture as children have died in Nakuru and Eldoret, and others crippled in Kakamega as a result of administration of wrong drugs or vaccines. Now that's a very interesting special report on the Standard to do with wrong prescriptions and the use of medicine that you're not supposed to be using. For example, in Nakuru, children who had hepatitis were treated for pneumonia, and about 39 of them died. And that's a very interesting read. You can go ahead and do that. But now let's take a look at this headline on the Daily Nation. And as I said, we are very privileged to have the Deputy Governor of Nairobi County with us. 20 billion shillings audit shocker for county. Let me just go through the highlights. Ghost workers back as 11.4 billion shillings illegally banked and not transferred to the county revenue. The full story is on page 10. You can read it for yourself. Some of the highlights. Revenue collection. Jumbo Pay is paid 4.5% of the value of payments made on that system, meaning that last financial year the private firm deducted 513 million from the 11.4 billion collected. Now the Jumbo Pay, I think it has to do with the EGG Pay system, where you used to pay, that's a system on which you pay for your parking fees and rents, or if at all you live in Nairobi. Another highlight there, 500,000 shillings for county logo was used to brand 10 containers. Some of the containers were not branded as per the contract. An incomplete borehole in Pumwani at a cost of 3.9 million shillings. Undelivered uniforms. Company paid 16 million shillings but has not delivered uniforms for City Hall askaris. Unpaid legal bill amounting to 758 million shillings. 437 million payment to a company for non-functioning traffic management cameras. Irregular transfers. County executive transferred 11.3 billion shillings to operation accounts in commercial banks without approval from the controller of budget. Now what has happened is that the Auditor General Edward Ouko says the county is not in full control of its revenue collection process. Something very interesting, and before I give the Deputy Governor an opportunity to speak, is where the Auditor General has refused to give an opinion on the accounts of the Nairobi County government because he says he cannot access all the records. But Deputy Governor, do you have anything to say about this headline?
Yes. You know, Fred, I have lots to say. Because we can substantiate some of this stuff. These are largely false accusations. And why I can so confidently say false is because numbers don't lie, and we have the numbers. So for example, they say 513 million collected by Jumbo Pay. This is completely wrong, because Jumbo Pay is only implemented in half of our revenue streams, and you can see our revenue for that year is about 11.7 locally collected. Jumbo Pay, out of that, collected only about 8 billion. Out of that 8 billion, 7 billion was collected directly through the cash office. The cash office rate is 1.25%, not 4.5. I see the report here says that the Auditor General has refused to agree that because it's not in the contract. I invite him to come and we'll show him the contract, because there's a contract that says if it's complete e-payment, it's 4.5%. If you come into the cash office using their system for reconciliation and all of that, and their technology, is 1.25%. So if you get 1.25% of 7 billion, you don't come anywhere near here. You get 100 and something million, probably about 190 million, right? Then the remaining 1 billion that was collected electronically, and you do the 4.5%, you get 36 million. So 513, and Jumbo Pay has only billed, because we've not paid them all of it, we owe them quite some money.
But the understanding is that the deduction is done even before it comes to you.
No, it's not, because we invoice, and that's why I'm telling you the evidence is there, the numbers don't lie. So if you look at the actual money that is owed, or that Jumbo Pay should have made for that year, it comes to 100 and something million. And here they say 513. So whoever did this did the figures times 5. So that is completely wrong, and they can come and check the facts. 500,000 county logo on containers. By the way, we've not seen this audit report. I spoke with the governor this morning when I woke up and got shocked about somebody inquiring about 20 billion shillings, and even he has not seen the audit report. What is also curious is the Nation said they called him and they didn't call him. If they couldn't find him, they would have called me. I'm the deputy governor. They didn't call me. So there's something fishy about this whole story. 3.9 million shillings for incomplete Pumwani borehole. Here we can ask ourselves, how much does it cost to drill a borehole? Yeah? And Brian, since you have a calculator, the average is 7,000 shillings a meter. In Nairobi, you drill 350 meters. What does that come to? Maybe 2.9 or almost 3 million. Then you go get a pump from Davis and Shatcliffe to pump out water is almost 2 million shillings. So to drill a borehole in Pumwani, I can tell you off the top of my head, just based on standard figures, would cost you about 4.5 million shillings. Here they are saying we've misappropriated because we've done 3.9 million shillings, and that's probably why, if it is true, I have to check on the details, that they say it was varied for another million, maybe because they found out it's impossible to drill a borehole in Nairobi for 3.9 million shillings. Anybody who drills boreholes can check those facts, because I'm on national TV. 16 million shillings undelivered uniforms. We had tendered for this. Then after that, we were advised that you cannot put your new logo on a security uniform without it having been gazetted and so on and so forth, because there's something that regulates how you put things on whatever. So we had to cancel that contract. It's actually been cancelled.
So no payment has been done?
The payment was done because we paid a down payment for the people to start doing the work. And then when we paid the down payment for them to start doing the work, we had to halt the contract because they would have made old uniforms. Yeah. So what would have happened is you'd have lost 16 million shillings. So as good managers, what we said is, listen, you cancel this contract.
But cancelling that contract must have come at some cost.
No, not exactly, because if you're going to give the same people this money, this contract, with the new logos that have been gazetted, then you don't lose the money. Yeah. But if you tell them, since now we have given you money, go and print the wrong thing that we can never use because that's the old county logo that you can't use on the uniforms, then now would have had an audit query of people saying we printed for uniforms that can never have been used. Yeah. So now we have the opportunity of not losing this money, because once our logos are gazetted, then you can be able to do that. 758 million unpaid legal bill. We came and found very big bills. You've seen me here complaining, you've seen the governor complaining that we found pending bills like something else in the county. Why are they still pending, somebody may ask? Because we were not sure as a county government that these bills were actually due. We were not sure if the lawyers had billed correctly as is envisioned in the role of advocates. So the governor appointed a committee to look at all pending legal bills, where all the people who claim we owe them money were to come in. We look at if they actually did any work.
So that payment is yet to be done.
So that payment is yet to be done for a good reason. If we had done it, then you'd have come back and said we paid lawyers who didn't do any work. But again, as good managers, we said we are not going to pay this because this money was due before we came in, and we want to find out exactly why the money is due. So we've not paid it because we're waiting for the report. 437 million surveillance cameras. This is not the county. This is not the former city council. This is Nairobi Metropolitan Ministry. So this procurement was done in the Kibaki government. I think the minister then must have been Jamlek Kamau. They tendered. They put in a contract. They paid the company. So Nairobi County has completely no link to 437 million shillings of security cameras. They've not even been handed over to us. They are still with the State Department of Urban Development, still in the national government. So why would somebody wake up in the morning and put a headline that Nairobi County has procured illegally 437 million shillings of cameras?
Okay.
And it has nothing completely to do with the county. That's why I'm telling you, the malice in this story is epic. Yeah. Then 11.3 billion illegal transfers. Freddie, if you read what they are saying here, besides the county executive transferred shillings 11.3 billion, the amount from the exchequer to operation accounts in several commercial banks without written approval from the controller of budget. First of all, this story is untrue on so many levels. The first level, we got maybe 11.4 billion from the exchequer last year. you need controller of budget approval to remove even a shilling. So it's not possible to withdraw the money from the central bank account without control of budget approval. It won't work because it's run by a system, and the control of budget must hit approve. That's why we have a control of budget here. So it's impossible for that to happen.
Let's bring in Brian.
No, hold on a second. I'm just concluding this, that you can tell on how many lies this story is founded on. Number two, all the money we get from the exchequer, all of it, 100% of it, goes to pay salaries. We get 11.4 billion, our salaries are 13.2 billion, 1.1 billion shillings a month. Yeah.
What about this question about EGGPay, with the fact that the money is being held in a different trust and not something to control that account?
I'll explain that just now when I finish poking holes into this big lie of a headline. And then it says several commercial banks. Yeah. All the money that comes from our exchequer goes directly into our cooperative bank account. So how is one account several? So that again is completely wrong. Let's come back to JamboPay. They say that you have a trust account where money goes. Anybody who understands
where City Hall is not even a signatory.
Yeah. Anybody who understands mobile money, yeah, like Safaricom, JamboPay, and everything, will understand that money is held in trust, right, on behalf of the customer. The customer is you, you Freddie, you Brian, and so on. So I'll give you a good example. If you want to pay parking today for 300 shillings, right, you go and you load 1,000 shillings in your account from M-Pesa to JamboPay account. Yeah, whose money is that? It's your money as Freddie. You've not paid anything, it is your money. You just put 1,000 shillings because you want to pay for 3 days in a row, right? That money has to go into a trust account. Why would you want the county government to have your money? Now this trust account, the law says that the vendor, JamboPay, the trust account must be managed by an independent financial consultant, the trustee, PKF. Why there's a third party is because the law is protecting JamboPay to use your money unauthorizedly. Because the money has already left your M-Pesa account, it's now in another wallet that is yours. So your money is being held in trust with you by PKF. Now that is regulated and monitored and approved by the central bank. Read government. So when somebody says it's entirely private, it's not true. Now when you pay your 300 shillings to the county, the money has to come from the trust account now to the county's revenue accounts. Directly. Now because you have to do reconciliation to make sure that yes, parking was paid, now the money must come from that account and go to the other account. And because PKF are the ones who are managing that account, their auditors must approve that yes.
So this 300 is moved to a different account before
now the revenue account.
Revenue.
No. It stays in the trust account. All the money is in trust account.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it has to move from the trust account once you've made your payment. So your 1,000 shillings, you make 300. Now that 300 is not yours anymore because you've paid Nairobi County. So it moves from the trust account into our revenue account as Nairobi County.
So the reconciliation is done in your account?
No. The reconciliation is done by the PKF, the auditors, because they have to verify that yes, Indimuli had 1,000 shillings, he has paid Nairobi County 300 shillings, now he has 700 remaining in the trust account because it's his money. Yeah, and the 300 has been sent to the county. Now we give a window of 72 hours, up to 72 hours. Sometimes, actually most of the time it happens within 24 hours. Up to 72 hours for that to happen. So after that 72 hours, once the auditors have approved it, the money now moves the 300 shillings from that trust account to the county revenue account. Then what we do as per the law, we sweep that money to central bank. Then we have to get control of budgets approval to use it, and it's not possible to get the money out of the control of budgets approval to come back. So that's how it works. Now the Auditor General says it takes a month for the 300 shillings to come from there to the other place. It's impossible. How would we have been able to provide services?
Final question.
Last but not least.
Final question.
Last but not least, I'll go to your final question. It says here somewhere that we are not in charge of our revenue, right? And we don't know how much we collect. Now, these guys are calling JamboPay a controversial system, but I can tell you right now, because I have it on my phone, up to the minute, I can tell you that the county is just loading because it's up to the minute. just to show you that we are in control. Even in my pocket now, I can tell you how much the county has made today. Yeah, and you can see, I don't know if the camera can show, up to now, before the cash office has opened, because we open at 8:30.
Yes,
we have made 558,000 shillings, so about 500,000 shillings.
Since 6 a.m. this morning.
Since midnight.
Since midnight.
Yeah. And for this week, the week started yesterday, 6:57. So what this system has allowed us to do is we're able to collect revenue even when the cash office is closed. People are transacting. And me as an administrator and one of the leaders of the county and the governor and everybody else, up to the minute, can see how much money they can. And it goes into say we've made money from land rates is 0. From house rents, we've made 65,000 shillings.
Since midnight.
Since midnight. From seasonal parking, we've made 433,000 shillings. So I can even tell where the money is coming from. So why would somebody print in the newspaper that we have no clue where our revenue is coming from?
Okay.
Now, last but as I conclude, because I know Brian wants to speak. Yeah?
Brian has just been
I'm very curious because a month ago or 3 weeks ago, we had the 5 billion shilling audit query at the Ministry of Health. That story made it to all the 3 newspapers every day for 6 days. This story is talking about 20 billion, which is, first of all, what we collect in 2 years. Yeah, I'm assuming this is the audit report for 2014, 2015. By the way, we've not seen this report, so we don't even know when it is for. 20 billion shillings is 4 times what allegedly disappeared at the health ministry. It's only in the Nation. It's not in the Star. Even there is no small story in the Standard. It's not in the East African. It's nowhere else. Yeah. So we are definitely going to write to Nation as a county and ask them, where did you get these falsehoods? Because they need to explain to us, and we are inviting the Nation to come to my office so that I can give them the facts,
just itching to go,
and they can tell us why they are peddling lies about the county and creating panic.
Can you tell the deputy governor he has done his PR?
Not PR, it's fact.
So let him now allow me to also articulate issues. Number one, I think if the county government has not seen this report, procedurally they're supposed to be given a draft, then they respond. And I can see already the deputy governor has started responding on national TV. Number two, you can't say because it's only Nation who carried the story, then it is erroneous. You remember the 5 billion story? It did not even appear in our local newspapers. It appeared in the East African. You remember?
It was the Business Daily.
It was a Business Daily. So it was just one newspaper. So the mere fact that this has been carried by Nation does not make it erroneous or untrue.
It was carried by all headlines, all 3 papers.
Don't worry, we will be discussing this today is the first. Today is Monday, and that is the reason why we are here on Monday, on a Monday morning. Now, key things, and I want to be very clear that procedurally, then the county government needs to look at the report and respond to it. But just out of this, I can pick up and pick out certain things. Number one, this report, I don't want to call it auditor's report because as you've heard,
I doubt the auditor would say something like this.
They're saying that billions, 11.4 billion illegally banked and not transferred to county revenue fund. Now let me just break it down slowly. Now, when the county government receives revenue, according to the law, they're supposed to bank that in a county revenue fund. And when you hear Jonathan bringing in the issue of monies transferred from the exchequer to the county revenue fund, that it's very difficult. This report does not talk about the monies that have been transferred from the revenue collected. It is about you will respond.
No.
You will respond.
We can't accept lies.
No.
I read that from the newspaper, Brian.
It's okay. You will respond.
It's
as we speak.
It's not Jonathan. It's the newspaper.
The member of parliament for Makadara has taken the county government to court. Why? Because the revenues they receive, it's very clear they don't bank it in the county revenue fund as provided for in the law. And I do not want to discuss the merits and demerits of that matter. It is actually in court, and a sitting member of parliament is the one who took them to court. So because I don't want to be sub judice, I don't want to discuss on the merit of those issues. Now, key things. You hear Jonathan telling us And if you read this report, key things are being raised. This so-called GGP, I don't know it. You don't know it. Who introduced that to us? The county government. They said, look here, we want to be more efficient. We want to be able to collect money even at midnight, as he says. Now, the auditor is raising certain fundamental questions. Number one, the private account that has been opened is through what we call a deed, a trust deed.
Yeah.
Now, a trust deed is a constituting document like a registration certificate. Now, what the auditor is saying, this trust deed, the county government is not party to it. Yet we are paying services to our county, our beloved county government. Now, the auditor goes ahead to say, this private account, you find even other monies that are coming in that are not county government. Now, Jonathan wants to give you semantics, PR processes. Let me tell you, we are not talking about monies that are being held. We are talking about monies that after we have paid.
Yes, money that has been collected.
Monies that has been collected. We are saying county government is not part of it.
Yes.
That is what the auditor is saying.
Yes.
Allow me to articulate my issues, then you can be able to respond.
I'll respond.
And the county
is wrong.
Yes. What the auditor general is saying is that the monies that we have paid for certain services are sent to the so-called EGGP in a private account that these guys do not have control over. Now, he's telling you how much is already collected. He has no